All right, let's get on with the fun stuff. We'll start now and work our way back. I solemnly affirm and swear by everyone's interpretation, according to the sacred words of all parliamentarians everywhere, the gospel according to Roberts, that I am now a sustaining member of the National Libertarian Party.
What, no clapping?
They know that ain't no big deal.
I want to thank you, as a matter of fact.
Next, we'll move to the claim that I was never eligible to be elected to the term to which I hold now because of the very thing that my good friend Tony Wall was speaking about, the check from Sean Hall. It has been claimed that that is an illegal transaction. It has also been asserted that Sean and I were engaged in monkey business to make this happen. Of course, it's not true. Your chair has a photostatic copy of Sean's check, if I'm not mistaken. It was sent out with the memo. Clearly states that the check is from Sean Hall and is referenced at the bottom to be for my membership. There was never any attempt to defraud anyone, to fool anyone. It was obvious that Sean Hall was making a donation for my membership in his name. We now know that there's nothing wrong with this, and I'll explain in a moment. First, I want to tell you how it came to be. February of last year, Dr. Mary Ruart called me and asked me if I would be her campaign manager for a presidential run. You know, I'd gotten pretty good at telling people no. And then the one person in this party that I can't say no to called and asked me to do something. So we began our campaign. And I had let my membership lapse from the time that I had left the National Committee in 2006. As many of you know, from 2004 to 2006, I was the vice chair of the Libertarian Party. Unless you ask Aaron Starr. There was another election I suppose he was never eligible for. We'll get to that in a moment. Anyway, I knew that I wanted to be a delegate to the National Convention so that I could vote for my own candidate. And I knew that the one thing I needed to do was get my membership current. Sean Hall was working as a contractor in the office at the time. Sean Hall owed me money from a mutual business deal that we had been involved in. And it was a small amount of money, just barely enough to cover a membership. So I called him. I said, Sean, I said, will you do me a favor? You know, that it was actually $30 at the time. I said, you know, $30, Joe. He says, yeah. I said, will you do me a favor and take 25 and give it to us for my membership and just forget about the other 5. You know, it was a friendly deal. I said, you know, can you do that for me? Save me the trouble of having to write a check. I was on the road with a presidential campaign. He said, sure, no problem. Now, at the time, I envisioned him just taking $25 out of his pocket, walking over and giving it to him, saying, this is Lee Wright's money. But, of course, he wrote him a check. Nothing wrong with that. But that's how it came down. Now, there's been a big uproar over this gifting business, whether you can buy memberships or donate money in other people's names. Late last night, sometime during the night, I was copied on a memo. I did not solicit this memo. I believe that I was copied on it as a courtesy. I have sent a copy to Miss Angela Keaton, and I've asked her now. It's a short memo, but I want you all to hear it because I think it's an important piece of information that is relevant directly to what Mr. Wall was talking about, to his impending request. And on that note, even if they do agree to give you your money, as a National Committee member, knowing the state of affairs of our party, I wouldn't count on seeing any money. Anyway, Angela, if you would, please first let us know who this is from.
Okay, you know, Leonard Schwartz is a lawyer. He's been an LP member since 1980, but he was mostly LP Michigan's campaign finance advisor since 1999. He's been the political director since 2005. Leonard actually launched a very brief run for EP last year. He can get moderate traction, but he's an extremely thoughtful and educated man. The memo's very brief. It basically states, Aaron, regarding your April 21st memo to the LNC regarding our Wrights, the Libertarian Party of Michigan Executive Committee referred your SEC regulations require that a political committee accurately record and report the person who made a contribution. As long as a political committee spends contributions for lawful purposes, it does not matter which lawful purpose a contribution is spent for. There is nothing unlawful about a gift membership. Therefore, as long as the party properly records and reports that Sean Hawes' contribution was made by Sean Haw, it doesn't matter if the money was used for gift membership, too, gift memberships. I think that gift membership should not merely be allowed, but should also be encouraged. Gift memberships for young libertarians can encourage them to be active in the party. Gift memberships for the Libertarian Party active actually encourage them to remain active. And Mr. Schwartz leaves his contact info here if anyone has any questions. So wants that later, they can get that. But that's the memo from Leonard Schwartz today, dated today, and it was addressed to Star, Redpath, and the others.
Thank you, Angela. So here we have a lawyer with years of experience in campaign law telling you, he's not saying that it's okay to give membership. He's encouraging us to do so, to build membership. There's nothing wrong with what was done. And here again, we're running into a classic problem that this LNC in particular has had. We have people that are proficient in one area, supposing that they are proficient in another area. Our treasurer, Mr. Starr, is a bookkeeper. Apparently, he's a pretty good bookkeeper. Aaron Starr's no lawyer. Sometimes he believes he is. And so, his interpretation of the law versus Mr. Schwartz's interpretation of the law, I'll take Mr. Schwartz. I'm sorry. Because that's where the man is proficient. And he's done his homework. So, nothing untoward was done. I was quite legitimately elected to this board. At the time that this transaction took place, I had no intention of running for the LNC. I had no intention of running for anything. I just wanted to be a delegate to a national convention so that I could vote for my candidate. As simple as that. Once I got to the national convention, things transpired, and it so happened that the body offered upon me the great honor of serving my third term on the Libertarian National Committee. I do consider it an honor. I love this party. I love the people in it. And I'm not about to let a handful run me off or tell me what to do. I will quote Sheryl Crow, I am king of me. And that's the way each one of us should be. That's what libertarian philosophy is all about. Being the king of me. Being responsible for me. Not expecting other folks, particularly government, to do it for me. I'm going to address one more issue about this membership thing, and then I'm going to move on to something else. The memo also claims that I was lapsed during the time that I was elected vice chair back in 2004 and remained lapsed for quite a bit of time. Well, as our colleague and my friend, former LNC colleague as well, Mr. Trenward, can tell you, there was a time, this period in particular, where my records had gotten screwed up in the database. You see, I, like Mr. Wall, all the years I've been in the National Party, every time my membership's been paid, was paid by my wife. It wasn't paid by me. Her check, money out of our account, but in her name. Never been a problem with it. In fact, they still haven't said anything at all about all those years that I sent them money and it was my wife's name on the check. It's just been this one particular incident. What happened during that time, we had moved from one database to the other, Fox Pro to Razor's Edge. We had nightmare of the time with the transfer of the data. That year they received a check from my wife for my membership. They made my wife a national member and recorded me as lapsed because they didn't pay attention to the instructions on the check. After this being brought to my attention by the national office that I was a lapsed member, I told them no, that they received a check from my wife for my membership. They went and checked the records and in fact found out that what I was telling them was so.